Hello, folks. Welcome to Scratch the Surface. My name's EJ Scott. Today I interview Mike Bertrando. Mike is a friend that goes back. I've known him for maybe 13 years, something like that. We met in Los Angeles, California at the ayahuasca Theater, improv theater. But we met up for this interview in New York City, in Brooklyn. And he came over to my apartment in Brooklyn. And before I talk about what we talked about, I'd like to give myself a plug. Check me out on Twitter at EJ Scott and the podcast at EJ Podcast. Instagram, EJ Scott1106. My website is ejscott.com. I am raising money for charity. Go to crowdrise.com/7on7. That's the number 7 on the number 7. There's lots of great charities there that I'm raising money for. And I ran 12 marathons in 12 states in 12 months in 2012. And I was lucky enough to get a documentary made about it called Running Blind. And you can buy it or rent it for only $2 or $3 on iTunes or Amazon or Google Play. So go check that out. It'll be well worth your time. I have an eye disease called choroideremia, and I'm going blind, and it runs in my family. And I wanted to raise awareness and money. So I did that big thing in 2012. And you could see what my year was like by checking out that movie. So I hope you will. Okay, so Mike comes over and we talk about a bunch of stuff. We talk about comedy, Chicago. He was from Pennsylvania. We talk about that. We talk about his family, what it's like living in Brooklyn for him because he moved from LA to Brooklyn. And we talk about his travels. And he did he did ayahuasca in Peru. I think it's in Peru. And we talk about that. And that is a crazy, I don't know if you've ever heard anybody talk about that experience. I've heard him talk about it now a few times. So I asked him about that, and it is wild. I don't think I could ever do it. I don't think so. That would be a little rough for me, I think. So we talk about that. We talk about dating and therapy, and if he wants to have kids and all that stuff, and what he wants out of his career and his life. And we get into a lot of serious stuff, but we have a ton of laughs along the way. He's a very funny man. He's an actor. We talk about the highs and lows of being an actor and a writer. So there you go. So from March 8th, 2017, this is my talk with Mike Bertrando. Hi, Mike.
We start?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Is this good?
Yeah, this is so weird. Yeah.
It's a good way to start.
Okay. Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
How's life? It's hot out today.
It's hot out today. It's very good. Things are good. Ready for spring.
Yeah.
And so that gets me happy.
Why does the cold
bothers me? I hate it. Yeah.
Really?
I hate it. Although this year was easy, but I still hate it. Yeah, I still hate it. Depressed. It's more the it gets dark early. I can't stand that.
Yeah.
That depresses me.
Really?
Yeah, it really does. And like last night, I was at a bar. I met some friends, and it was a happy hour and like glass, windows, and it was like still daylight out, and I was like, oh, I love this. I love it. Yeah.
Maybe you should move to like Alaska during
the summer.
Their summer, and
it's go to Iceland during summer in Iceland.
It's sunny out 24 hours a day.
I should do that, but I won't. Never. Maybe.
Are you from Chicago originally?
No, I'm from Pennsylvania originally.
Okay, so you were born in cold weather.
Yeah. I'm used to it, but I still hate it. But then I was in Los Angeles, so that kind of really changed my weather habits.
You get kind of soft.
I did.
Me too.
More than one way.
Me too, though. Me and Deborah, we come back here, we're like, oh no.
Oof. I
What's
know.
happening?
I feel gross. I'm like drinking all the time here. Los Angeles, I never had to drink barely. I mean, that's not true, but like not as much as here.
Yeah.
Oof.
Why do you drink so much here?
Because there's
Nothing to do.
bars everywhere and you don't have to drive.
That's true.
Yeah, there's like, walk down the street and there's like, $3 vodka soda sign. I go in.
All right. Sounds
So,
good.
Yeah. No, I like bars, but
Do you miss LA?
I do. Yeah, I miss that lifestyle. I miss the weather. I miss the beach. I miss hiking. I miss. Yeah, I don't. Well, like I was back there, since I left. It was not. I mean, I was there for a job, so that's always nice. But it was also nice because there's Ubers and stuff, and
Right.
so like that makes a huge difference to me because I hated driving. I'm not a good driver, and I hated it in traffic. I mean, it sounds so stupid and trite or whatever, but really, I hated it.
Yeah.
But everything else, like I liked my lifestyle, like vegan and yoga and all that bullshit I was into, and having like guru acupuncture guy and all that shit. I'm just like, I was into it.
Right.
It was cool.
Well, I don't drive. It's great now with
now
the Lyfts and Ubers. And
people thought I was great. Like I would take the train, like and I was living in Highland Park, and I lived right by like the Gold Line train. I'd take the train downtown, and then take the red train like up to Hollywood, and like would do that, which was great because then at that time it closed. Like I think they started keeping it open later on the weekends, but like it would shut down, and so like then I wouldn't stay out late. I'd be home. It was good.
Yeah,
I liked it, but yeah.
So how long? What did you born and raised in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I was born in. Born and grew up in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania.
How was that? What's it like there?
It's nice. It's like a very small town. Like I just had my reunion. I think I graduated with like 100 kids at public high school. Yeah.
100 kids. That's pretty small.
Yeah, small, and it may not have been that many.
What reunion was it?
25.
25. Did you go to other reunions?
No, it was my first.
It's your first. I went to my 20.
Yeah, it was incredible.
It was dumb.
Oh, yours was dumb. Mine was incredible.
Dumb. Why was yours incredible?
I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it.
Did people show up?
Yeah. I mean, it was fun.
Are most of them still there?
A lot of them, but some of them no. But like a lot of them, like one guy lives in like he came they did like who came the furthest or whatever, and he lives in Nepal. And like works for the Dalai Lama or something. Like he does tech support for the Dalai Lama.
He's the Twitter guy or something.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah, it was cool. So yeah, and everybody was like really nice, and it was really fun. Like really fun. It was a great time. Like, oh my God, really was.
Mine was terrible.
Yeah, and like
how many showed up like that graduated?
I mean, there was a lot. Like there was a couple like missing that like I was wondering if they would come and then didn't. But for the most part, everyone I wanted to see was there.
Really? So what would you say, 50 people that graduated?
Sure. Oh, yeah. Oh,
really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There was at least 50. Oh, yeah. There's
Didn't
probably
have that. Yeah. For my 20 year, we probably had a few hundred graduate.
Yeah.
And there were maybe, I think like 15 or 20 people showed up.
Oh, see, maybe being from such a small school and like, but I mean, and everybody, all types of like, the cool kids, the nerdy kids, everybody was there. Yeah. Like everybody. Yeah. It was fun.
That was not the same.
Yeah.
Two different experiences.
Yeah. It was
I should have gone to your school.
And then like afterwards, the one guy like had a party afterwards.
Oh, really?
After party. And it was like, he has this great place, I lived in the country and it's all, horses and woods and all that stuff. And he has this great little like kind of like bungalow and some property in the woods, and he's like, we have like a fire going and like all this shit in the backyard, and yeah, it was great. It was really fun.
Did you bring a date?
No, I don't think anyone. I mean, well, even some of the people who were married didn't bring their husbands.
Oh, really?
Or some of them did, and so that was kind of fun. And then like, it's more like you're in high school again.
Did you see any girls you had crushes on back then?
I saw my first girlfriend, Renee Amaral, and like we took a picture together.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, "You're like my first kiss." I was like, "You too." Oh. And like she married a guy from high school. He was there, but he graduated I think like a year or two before us.
Was he jealous of you?
No, not at all. Not at all. But she's cool because like it's just fun. It's a small town, and like you know, like my mom knows her mom, you know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
everybody's like knows people.
Everybody knows each other's business.
Yeah, yeah, for
Right.
sure. But it
Did you
was,
have siblings growing up?
yeah, I have two of them.
What do you
And
have?
they're still my siblings, two brothers, two
Older,
older
you?
brothers.
Two
Yeah,
older.
I
So you're
was the
younger.
baby, and they're the olders.
How was your relationship growing up with them? They pick on you, give you
Yeah,
shit.
no, oh yeah, yeah. They beat me up and like made fun of me, made me cry. Yeah, I was like a real baby, like crying.
You were?
Yeah, I mean, they said, at least they said. I don't remember. They said I was. I don't think I
You
was. I
blocked
don't
it out.
know. I was a loner, like because they were older than me, so I kind of chilled out by myself most of the time. And yeah, and then like my oldest bro, you know, he's 7 years older than me, so like you know, he was out of the house by the time you
Yeah.
know
You were
was of age to
11
remember
or something.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. So,
You stay in touch?
oh yeah, you know, not like we're not. I mean, we're close, but it's not like I don't call him up or anything like that. I call
Right.
my parents like, well, my mom really like on Sunday, like I give a phone in,
Yeah.
but that's about it.
You say I'm alive,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and she's
Baby,
there's a
is that your
there's
baby?
a new baby across the hall.
I don't like that. I would complain all the time.
I never hear the baby. Of course,
Wow.
the one time I'm doing a
Yeah,
podcast.
they decide to cry. Terrible neighbors.
What, you ever wanted kids?
No.
Never.
Uh-uh.
You said that pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, I don't.
When did you decide you didn't want it? When did you know like kids are for me?
Well, I never even thought about it. Like, it was never a
Never think.
decision I made. It was just like, yeah. I like my brother's kids, but I don't want kids.
Yeah.
Even, yeah.
Did you like in relationships? Were you ever in a relationship where it was
No.
brought up?
No. Why would I know?
Why are you looking at me like I'm
Because
crazy?
That's a crazy question.
Why is that crazy?
Because
Don't you think like somebody else might want a child someday?
yeah, but I never got that far in a relationship to worry about having kids or
Really?
Yeah, why would you do that?
I don't know.
No.
Well, what's your longest relationship?
Let's see, what's today? I don't
Wednesday, I
know.
think?
Wait, I would say not
Tuesday?
less than a year, probably
Less than a year?
yeah, probably like 6 months. Yeah, I'm not into
6
that
months?
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never was.
Are you a breaker upper, or
No,
do they break
I
up
usually
with you?
like will break up with me. Like it's usually, and it's not even. It's usually like a fade out, like a fade out.
Just
Still,
a
you know, 'cause,
tapering
yeah,
off.
it's like okay, no one's, you know, it's like you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I mean, you will. I mean, I'll be sad, but it's like it's fine. Like it's no big deal.
What do you like to date?
No one. I really don't. I don't like dating.
No, I mean
I
like
don't like.
how are you to date? Like
Oh, how am
yeah,
I to
what
date? Oh, I thought
would
you
they
said what do you.
describe you as a boyfriend or something? How would they describe you?
I don't know. You have to ask them. Probably like, well, back when I was dating, I was younger, so I was probably they'd say I was like a partier. Like
Okay.
yeah, probably. Like,
Were you a cheater? Did you do a little of that?
well, I mean, I wouldn't say that on a podcast. That's personal things that hurt somebody's feelings.
Non-specific, non-specific.
But no, I mean, sometimes I did things that probably weren't nice, but like, I have a relationship with like one person who, I mean, honestly, I remember a lot, but a lot of it I don't remember because we were just partying so hard. Yeah, yeah.
What were you doing party-wise? Like, how do you party?
Like drinking, we smoke a lot of weed, tequila. I remember a lot of that, like to the point where I had to stop drinking it because I couldn't smell it anymore. And like big at that time, like ecstasy was big, like, and that's always fun. And then on that, like you just drink more. At least I did. Would drink more. So probably, and then I was like, maybe it's not a good idea that I'm in relationships because
it messes with your judgment.
Yeah, it messes with my judgment.
Right.
And yeah, it's fighting, and I'm not into all that. I like low key.
Yeah. You're a pacifist.
Yeah, I'm a pacifist.
Right. Now.
Yeah, now I am. Now
you are.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You ever been in love?
Mm-mm.
No, never.
I mean, yes, every day, but not like you mean probably. Not like, I think people like, I don't think that I fall in love every day. I really do. Like I have crushes on people I just see on the street.
Yeah.
And I find that to be like love. Like I think people like think, love, you have to be with someone for like 15 years and like put up with bullshit. That's to me is, I think, confused like
So
logic or something.
you're like Curly, the Jack Palance character in City Slickers.
Am I?
He fell in love once. It was with a girl he never spoke with, and he was like, she was beautiful.
No, that's not what I said at all. I said I fall in love every day.
Oh, every day, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
no, but I'm not like, I'm not relationship-y minded. At least I don't.
Never, ever. Never just.
Well, I did because like I thought that's what, that's what people
do.
And these, I don't know. But I was never, even like in like, well, like high school, I had girlfriends and stuff, like, because that's what you did in high school.
I didn't have any.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I guess
I was too shy. I was too shy.
I mean, I was shy too. I went to like the prom and stuff.
Nope.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
Didn't do that.
But and so like, I always thought it was stupid. And like, I grew up in a small town, and like the mentality, I was just like not into it. And then I went away, and I was in New York City at an early, and then you're like, what the fuck? Like, who wants a relation? Get married? Like having the time of my life. I was like, why would I? Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. It bores me.
What about your parents? Are they still married?
Yeah, they've been married for I want to say, I mean, it's over 50 years because I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, it's maybe like 52 or 53 years.
And do you look at them and go, what the fuck?
Yeah,
50 years?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it works for them, obviously. Yeah.
Do you get a lot of, Michael, when are you going to settle down?
No, never
Find
once.
somebody
never
nice.
Once. Never once.
Never once? They
Never
don't pressure you like that?
Never once, no. Yeah, no.
That's
I mean, my brothers are married. They have like grandkids and all that. So, but even so, they're very go do what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
No, I guess. Yeah.
And your brothers are okay with that stuff and all that? Nobody gives you shit? I get shit all the time. When I was single, I got shit, and when I'm with somebody, I get shit.
Never. But see, I'm very private. Like, my family really doesn't know. And I don't think they've ever met. My one brother met one of my girlfriends once in Chicago because he came to Chicago. But, like, I never brought anyone home. Even, like, in high school, I would never bring friends over. Like, I had my life. And
the QT.
Yeah.
Why so private?
I think growing up, like being like I think being the youngest, and like I just spent so much time with myself, and then I worked, and like I think, I don't know, just how I am. I think my mom is a pretty private person. I think, and maybe my dad too. I think my mom more so, and so I probably get it from her. And it could be that.
So there are things that you may probably not know about them.
Oh, I'm sure.
Even today.
I'm sure. Yeah. Which is fine.
What do they do for work?
Well, my dad was a teacher.
Teaching.
And, he started like high school. Like I had him as a high school teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
He taught me government and economics, but he started as an English teacher.
How were you as a student?
I got all A's. Like I never studied for anything. I got all A's all through. Like I never studied, and I would get A's.
You didn't have to study. You just knew stuff.
I would like go to class, and it's like if you're
pay
not
attention.
Yeah, and that's all you have to do. That's why I don't like. I mean, seriously, it's like they basically tell you what's on the test.
Right.
They literally do the day before the test. They're like, study these things,
right.
And it's just like, well, it's not hard. At least it wasn't for me.
You're good at retaining information like that?
I think so. I guess I was. I don't know anymore.
And your dad was a teacher. Was he a good teacher?
Yeah. He was very good. He was
weird
very popular.
Having him as a teacher?
Actually, it wasn't.
Were you nervous about it?
No, not at all. It wasn't.
Was there a talk like, Michael, I'm not going to treat you any different or anything
nothing. No, there's none of the, like, my family doesn't have, like, talks and, like, all that kind of stuff.
They don't talk.
No.
My family doesn't have talks.
It's nothing, nothing goes on like that.
So there's no, like, at the dinner table, so what'd you do today?
Oh, yeah, no, like, at the dinner table, you had to be home for dinner.
Uh-huh.
Had to. And we'd all sit and we'd talk about, talk about politics or
Okay.
or whatever.
Feelings? You talk about
No,
feelings?
yeah, that didn't come. I mean, we get in a fight with my brother because he had his foot on my chair or something. I'd be like, "Get your foot off my chair!" Like every dinner, every dinner.
So
Then yeah,
you said it like, oh, you had to be at dinner, like that was a
yeah,
rule.
that was a rule. Yeah,
That was a rule. Oh, that's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. And we didn't have like that was the thing. I mean, we were pretty well behaved kids. Like you knew, if we went out to eat, never would we act up or
Right.
anything like that. You just knew. And that was one. And then, and then like, then but my, well, and me too, I had a lot of responsibility as a, younger kid. Like, cause my dad was a teacher, my mom's family, and my mom runs like her own business, has like a sub shop, a deli. That we've
Oh,
had,
okay.
yeah, for
Still?
like, yeah, still it's over 70 years now in business. It's like the
Whoa.
oldest business in town that's still running.
Wow.
And like our town, like when I grew up, was like, there's no one there. It was just basically, it's just still popular. And like now it's like the town is like one of these hipster gentrified places with craft beer and coffee shops. And so now like people come into the sub shop and they're like, oh, this is so good, like they discovered it, like
Like it's
these
a
yuppie
museum or
people, yeah,
something?
like yeah. And they think my parents are like crazy, and like these two old Italian people are always yelling at people. And
That's funny.
yeah. And so like, but I used to work there as a kid, and like that was, I'd work with my grandfather, and then, when I was like 12 years old, I was running the place by myself until like they'd leave me down there by myself.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I guess they trusted you.
No, yeah. And I think more so than my other brothers, like I was the worker bee as far as that. I mean, my other brothers did a little bit, but mostly me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're from Italy originally. Were they born in this country? Or
My parents were, yeah.
They were born.
Yeah, and then my grandfather started this business, the sub shop, and he was like, he was started. I forget. I think he like worked in like, I don't know, some factory, and then was a bartender, and then opened up this place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was like because the mushroom industry is big in it's like where I'm from is like where like my dad's side, like they had mushroom houses, like they were mushroom farmers. And so like all the working men and the mushroom guys, like all the Italian immigrants came to pick mushrooms, like they were farm workers. And so then all those people kind of come to the sub shop, and like that's how my grandfather started his business. Was basically he was making sandwiches for like, the mushroom workers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting. How did your parents meet? Do you know?
They grew up like, a mile away from each other.
In that area?
Yeah, my mom's lived on the same street her whole life.
Wow.
Yeah. And so like,
So
and
real
then,
young, I guess.
yeah, and then like, they all, my grandfather and like, my mom's father, and then my dad's mother and aunt, like they were friends from school, and they all knew, they all knew each other. They all grew up, went to the same, high school or whatever.
So when did your parents start dating?
I mean,
High school?
yeah, like, I mean, I think they literally have known each other since they were 3 years old. Like, yeah.
It's like Deborah's parents.
Really?
Yeah. They've
Yeah.
known each other like their whole lives.
Yeah. I mean, they've known each other their whole lives. Yeah.
Started dating maybe around college age or something like that.
Well, I think they were like, because my mom got married, she was 21, I think. So she was in her second year of college, and then she, stopped, got married. So they knew each other. Like, I mean, they were dating in high school and all that stuff. Yeah.
Local colleges?
They both went to Penn State. Yeah.
Okay.
So not 3 hours from where we are.
So your dad finished school, I guess, to be a teacher.
Yeah.
And
then my mom did what women should do and get married and
have
stop
kids.
having an education.
It's today is Women's Day or something.
Yeah, well,
it's no Women's Day or something like that.
No, but and like but that's why my mom, like, she's very impressed. Like, I mean, to run your own business and have a successful business for because after my grandfather died, I was like, oh, what's gonna happen? She's kept it running for like 20 years and has made it more successful.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah,
good for her.
yeah.
Yeah, have they ever traveled? Are they happy?
Yeah, they go to Italy. They go like they go to the beach, but like my dad doesn't like to travel. My dad's a real pain in the ass. And but like they went to Italy with their friends. They do that. They take trips sometimes with their friends. Go to like they, went to Italy last year, I think, and then went to, they go to like Puerto Rico or where, where old people go to like sit at a resort and get sun or whatever, like
Right.
shit like that. Yeah. But like when we were kids, not so much.
Yeah.
Just to Ocean City, New Jersey, like a week in the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
Are they full Italian? What kind of,
Yeah, for the most part, like on my dad's side, like the guy, the guy, my great grandfather, like he was an orphan, so we're not sure of his, but like came from Italy, but he was like 12 years old, came over by himself,
Wow.
And like their name wasn't even, I don't even think the name is Bertrand. I don't know where the name Bertrando comes from.
Huh.
And like, because I think his name was like Cocachetti or something. And so I was like, well, where the hell is like Bertrand? And so then maybe it was like French and they meant Bertrand or something. But then he spoke Italian, so obviously he must have been Italian.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know where Bertrando comes from. And then when I looked, like, yeah, there's not really any Bertrandos. There's like a couple in there's like a Michael Bertrando in California.
That's you.
No, there's another one. Like he's like some PhD, and I'd always like when I looked him up, it would come up like PhD and like Grateful Dead stuff, and I was like, I wonder what this dude's.
Did you ever think about like finding out your lineage?
Yeah, I mean, I did it on my mom's side. Like my mom has this cousin who they're real nice, but like they're converted to like Mormonism or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're Mormons, and Mormons like are big into the genealogy thing.
Right.
So she like did my mom's family like way back to like 1700s in Italy and stuff. Oh, yeah, wow. It's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, I bought like a kit.
Yeah,
I haven't done it yet, but apparently I spit in a cup.
And they'll tell you who your grandfather was.
Yeah. They'll tell me when Genghis Khan.
Can't you just ask your mom like the same question? No,
they don't know.
It's less expensive.
I'm gonna do that though. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah.
See how far back it'll go.
I thought that. I mean, I've heard that for dogs, you find out what kind of breed your dog is, but I didn't know people did that too.
Oh, for like a rescue or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so you were born and raised there. Then you went to school.
Yeah, and then I went to school. Like I went to Penn State for like a couple of years, and then I left. I was not into this. I didn't want to go to college actually.
What'd you want to study?
Well, I wanted to be an actor, and like I thought it was stupid to study acting. But then, my parents were like, well, if you don't go to school, I don't know what you're going to do because we ain't paying for you to,
right.
do whatever. And so when I was in school, like I befriended, like one of my best friends was this guy. He was like an exchange student or something from Belgium. And he like spoke French. I was like, and I was always good at languages. I spoke Spanish. I was like good Spanish. Like I was taking Italian again in college, and then I was like, I'm gonna start. And I took French in high school too. I was into languages, and then I was like, I'm gonna go to France, and like so then I left school and like I studied at like a program in Paris, and like it was like a theater film thing, and like this like this real like hippie theater and all this shit. Like
you didn't like it?
No, I did. It was fun. Like it was weird. Like I liked it. I mean, I like Paris was it's fucking beautiful and like all that, but. Like, and I was young and I was like, I was cool. And, but it was really hard to make friends with those French kids. They're like, I don't know, maybe it was me, but it was kind of like if you were a foreigner, they were like not into your deal.
Were you able to speak French at all?
Oh, yeah. No, like at the time, I mean, now I fucking forget everything, but like, yeah, I was fluent. And then like, I mean, I was looking at like, because I was home over the holidays and I had like books that I studied there, and like, I mean, some of it was like this philosophy stuff all in French. I'm like, how the fuck did I? And like, I got, I don't know. I was like more fluent than I realized, I guess, looking back at it. Like, I was, everything I did was in French. Yeah, it was good.
And then you moved back to the States?
Then, then I came back. Like, I spent, time doing that Europe bullshit where you backpack around and all that stuff. And then when I came back, I was like ready. I'm like, I'm moving to New York, and then my grandfather died, and so that like threw me for a loop. Like the
Why?
one who has a sub shop, because we were very close. We were
Very
very
close.
close, very very close.
How
And
old were you when that happened?
I was like 21, I guess.
21.
Yeah,
You had a heart attack or something?
yeah. I had a heart attack on the golf course. Yeah.
You or him?
No, he did.
He did. He had a heart attack on the golf course?
Yeah, yeah. And like, yeah,
How far did he get?
he hit the ball, and they say he just fell over.
What hole?
I don't know. I forget.
He had the best game of his life.
Yeah, I know. It was like that Caddyshack where the priest got struck by lightning. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
It's like, holy cow. So yeah, that
How old was he?
He was 80.
Oh, that's kind of
Yeah, it's kind of young, and he was
a
never
little-
seen. He's a very vivacious little dude, and like
Playing
he was
golf.
like literally like, I mean, he was like a celebrity. He really was.
In the
Like
town?
people were like devastated when he died.
Mm.
Like it was really sad. It was sad.
That's too bad.
And it was sad. And then the sub shop, like people, literally, they're like friends of his and like other customers we never saw again because it was like literally one guy said it was just too upsetting for him to come into the
Wow.
and not see him. Yeah, he was a real character. He was funny. He like, it was the short. He was like 4'11", weighed like 200 pounds probably. And like smoked a corncob pipe with a cigar sticking out of it. He was a real.
Well, it's probably good. It's probably
Yeah.
impressive that he made it to 80.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was.
At
'Cause,
this
I mean,
point.
he ate.
This is
like,
your mom's dad?
my mom's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you eat?
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything. And like he'd always have like, he had this girlfriend who was like, because his wife died in the 70s, and then
Okay.
he always had like a girlfriend. And one used to work for us, but then he got this other one who he met. She was like the checkout lady at the grocery store.
Were you a lot younger than him?
Yeah, like I think she was younger than my mom. Yeah.
wow.
Oh yeah. Like, yeah. And
That's a lot younger.
yeah. And but she was a cool lady. And then like, but she would like I remember going over, like he would always come over to our house for dinner usually. But then like sometimes she would make him dinner, and the one night like they invite me over for dinner, and like she made like spaghetti, and like the spaghetti sauce like had all this like shit like leftover chicken, like salmon in it. I was just like, and he's like just eating it like it's the best thing ever. I know damn well he thought it was terrible, but he'd eat anything. He'd eat like pints of ice cream with M&Ms in it.
Oh.
Like when he
Wow.
babysit us, like me and my brother still had we like get me some too. Like that was whenever you'd be like in the couch watching TV, when you'd get up, he'd say, "Get me some too." And so like, whatever it was, he didn't care. Yeah. It's just like,
what
wow.
a character.
Yeah, he was a character.
That's
so
funny.
yeah, and then he passed us. So then I stayed home for a little bit.
Why did that rock you so bad? Like, did that change things for you?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that change things?
Well, I mean, that was the first time. I mean, like that was like we were so tight, and I remember like seeing him like the day he died. Like I was working with him, and like I still left because there was like he came in. He was at the Thriftway, like which was the grocery store, to buy a hamburger.
Mm-hmm.
And like he came back to the sub shop with the hamburger because I guess we ran out of hamburger or something. And like he like put the hamburger on the counter, and he looks at me and he's like, "The receipt's in the bag." And then he left because I knew he was going to pick up. But I remember him like looking at me, and like I remember that like I was like, I wonder if he knew he was going to die. And then like afterwards, I'm like, not at that time. I didn't really. And then like I look and the receipt's in the bag. Because you had to put the receipt like on this little peg, so like at the end of the night, keep track because that's what we did. And like and the receipt was like for $7, and he gives me no change, and he like left with 40. So I'm like, he's pocketing like $27
store,
or 23
right?
bucks. Yeah, but I mean, it was my mom's store. But they keep their like even to this day, like. You go to my house, or like be like, I'm going to the movies or what. Well, go in the the brown bag, and so like every night there'd be like on the kitchen counter a brown paper bag, like a lunch bag that had all the money from the sub shop in it, and they're just my brothers now, you go out, you just like grab in the bag and take money and go out. And so I don't like we didn't really have a bookkeeping system or anything. Like it was just like, it's all cash and just like.
Good thing you were never audited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, now they have an accountant, so that's good. Yeah. Yeah.
So how long did you stay?
Then I stayed home, and then I finally, like, I went to New York, like probably a year after, like 9 months maybe. I don't know.
Did you hang out to just be closer to your family and to help?
Yeah, and the help with the sub shop. Yeah, with the deli, and yeah, and then I was, like, I think I was messed up a little bit mentally, maybe too, and I don't know.
That?
Yeah, from that, and then like, because I had just gotten home from traveling, and like, I was ready to go start my life, and like that happened, and that was kind of like, ugh. And so then I waited around, and then like went to New York, and then then I started my acting career, which meant job at Starbucks, a job at some magician, temping, doing terrible plays, taking improv class, all that bullshit.
You were a magician?
I worked for a magician.
You worked for a magician?
Yeah, I typed his books into a database. He had like a little secret shop that you had to like, and his name was like Michael Canick, and he talked, like this.
Is he a good magician?
I don't know. I never seen him do it.
Oh, really?
And like he knew like I was into acting, so sometimes he would do show, and he'd write like a speech and like do it for me, and he'd be like, ladies and gentlemen of all ages, like, and I'd be like, I don't know if you should say that. That's weird. And he'd be like, oh, okay. And like he was just like this weird. I don't know how. And like he paid me cash, and so I'd do that. Worked at Starbucks up like on the Upper East Side. I quit after a month. I walked out. I couldn't take it.
Yeah. Why? Because
it was awful. It was awful. Yeah. Like awful. And like then waited tables, did temping.
You
had like a billion odd jobs.
You started improvising
on 80 couches. Yeah, I took a class at UCB, but before that I took some guy like like when you're an actor back then, you'd go to Barnes and Noble and look at backstage and like write down the
Ross reports,
all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And there was like something for an improv thing. I was like, oh, I'll go do it. And like I got into that, and like we would do shows, and then that guy was from Chicago, moved out here, and like the one woman was talking about she went to see some show at this place. And like that's how I found that. It was like I took a class at UCB, but it's like they didn't even have like a theater or anything. It was like a solo arts or something.
Oh, really?
And like Armando Diaz was my teacher, and I don't even know if they speak to each other anymore. I don't know what happened with that.
Oh.
But like he was a great teacher, and then I was in this other improv group that back then it wasn't like. There weren't improv theaters like you did because you thought it was cool or whatever. And there's like a couple, like UCB. I mean, not to take anything away, they were. It was fun watching their shows. But there's this other group called like Burn Manhattan, and like they were like,
great.
I mean, they were great. They were like they did
early '90s. What is this?
I guess so. Yeah, like mid '90s, and I forget the guy's name. Like some of the guys, like when I was in LA, like I saw their names. I forget. And like one of the guys made, like they do stuff now currently. I forget what. Like it was so long ago, and I remember seeing that. And like I was in a group like this. That's what I mean. And they were more theatery people, and we did a show. This show was like incredible, and it was like all like artsy fartsy, and like it was at a theater, and you'd have sold out audiences. It was different. It wasn't like. You're at a comedy venue, and then like the UCB started, and then it became like, and then I moved to Chicago. I was like, that was the first time, like when I was in Chicago, I was ever at like a comedy club. Like, yeah.
You just
like
pop up improv stages.
Right. Or like you'd be at a theater, like
So how long were you in New York till you moved to Chicago?
I don't know. Like 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
So that brings you to what? Your late 20s or mid 20s?
Yeah. And then I moved to Chicago with my friend Lauren,
Lauren who?
Lauren Dowden. I think you know
I know
her.
Lauren. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you met her out in New
I
York?
knew her in college, actually. She
Oh.
was one of the few people I could tolerate in college. Yeah. Because that's the thing, like actor. I mean, I don't know. I know I'm hard to deal with sometimes, and I have a little attitude problem, so I'm told. But like,
I don't see
no,
it.
you don't see
I
it.
don't
Thank
see
you.
it.
And
I think you're a joy.
all right, good. You and no one else. But so yeah, acting people with me, it was like kind of hard, because it's very can be a little snooty sometimes.
We're acting,
actors,
yeah.
and and talking about their craft, and it's like I don't really want to talk about my craft. I don't understand what you're talking about. But
that's why I do it.
Well,
that's interesting. So who decided to move to Chicago? Like she did, or you did, or
we kind of both did, and I remember I remember Armand like going out because I was doing UCB, and I remember like Amy Poehler like telling me, just like, oh, you're so funny, this and that. They're like, you're staying. And I was like, there's something I really want to go to Chicago, because they were talking about, they talked about Del Close, and Del Close was still alive. I was like, I really wanted to experience that, and that was one of like, I'm really glad. I mean, I don't know, I'm really glad I made that decision. Like Chicago, like I met like amazing people, like learned so much, and I had a blast. I had a blast.
You got to study with Del?
No, he died when I was in level 1. So I like saw him at the bar like as this weird old guy. I was like, I want to take class with this fucking guy.
You look like a crazy homeless man.
I mean, I thought like I don't know what was up, and like I was like I didn't even want. I thought I'd get lice if I'd like stand close to him, and I like.
You might.
But everybody, I was like, oh man, I moved here for this.
He's the guru.
I know he was like the man. But then like I realized like once I was there, I even had like, and like I think, and that's what makes me. Kind of, I see it sometimes, but like you learned more, or at least I did. Like I had great teachers, don't get me wrong, I really did. But you learn like the other people, like, the people in your class, and there, like I was in the class like at IO with the same people for a year, so it was almost like an acting school program, like you know what I mean? And so you really, and I think that's, I think as lost people think, you learn improv like now. It's like, oh, I know what the game of the scene is. It's like, well, great, but like you're still awful, like, because like you don't realize it's about the group and like learning to, jive with people and knowing how to like, you miss that whole, and that I thought why Chicago was so great is like that's the main thing I learned was how to coexist with people and perform with people and, create with people. And I think that's not really, taught or even mentioned. And it's just like, it wasn't really, and that was the main thrust for me in Chicago is like learning like about, how to jive with people and people who like, my friends in Chicago, my improv friends, like I have nothing, like honestly, outside of improv, really, I would like think about it, I'm like, I have nothing in common with these people. I would never be friends with like these people, It's just like, but, which was a good thing. And there's people who I didn't like, but when we were on stage together, it was great, And I think that was a big lesson that I think, is missed out. And so I was glad to move to Chicago, and like IO was very important, and not the teachers, but like not to take anything away from them. It was more like the people you were performing with, like your classmates and the people in your team and all that. There was a real camaraderie. And
is there anybody that stuck out teacher wise? Like who were some of your favorite teachers?
At IO or in Chicago in general. Like I mean, I took classes Second City, IO, and Annoyance. And like I don't know who listens to this. Hopefully no one, but I don't want to disparage anybody, so I won't like. Some people shouldn't. I mean, there
should not be teachers.
Should not, and I'm probably one of them. But like,
well, who'd you like?
Who did I like? Honestly,
Nobody.
I mean, like I like that. I mean, when I think about it, it's like I learned things, but again, it wasn't really
Nobody
the
stuck out.
teacher. Yeah, it wasn't the teacher.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
It's Deborah.
Good. Hi,
You've met
Deborah.
Deborah, right?
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah,
Mike?
how you been? Nice to see you.
Say hi.
Good.
We'll pause for
I
a
think it
minute.
was like at an improv show. I saw you we went at the Groundlings or something and saw a show and you guys were there.
Groundlings? Oh,
Yeah,
maybe.
like years ago though.
Maybe that's
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
How'd everything go?
All good.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
We
I'm
need to
glad.
talk about it.
Okay. Okay, so nobody quite stuck out.
Well, like, I mean, I remember learning things from like,
Except for people you didn't like.
yeah, I mean, like, I liked having like, I don't know, like I remember Noah, and that was a great class, but I remember him like, and he taught like the last level,
Mhm.
like, because Dell was going, so he was like,
Yeah, the fifth
the
level.
fifth level,
Yeah.
and he would do a show. And like he was a good teacher. He really was.
I know.
Yeah, he was great. And like I remember, we were doing this show, and like you'd rehearse and like or whatever like for this show, and like we were all like he was making us. Not that he was making us, but we had like basically I was like we're doing like the dream, like how like our show was like how in Chicago they have the first Harold team and then they do the dream
Yep.
with all the groups,
Yep,
and then
yep.
I'm like it was basically we're doing the dream. I'm like, this is kind of bogus. And like everyone's like, yeah, whatever. And so like
It was tradition.
yeah,
Even when I
and
was
so
there,
but
we were doing dream stuff.
but like I didn't want our class show to be the dream,
Yeah.
and so like. I think it was like the last class or second last class when I was like, of course me, I had to be and it wasn't being honest because I really respected him. And so I was like, I'm going to be honest. I raised my hand. I was like, no, I'm like, no one here wants to do this. And I'm like, I was like, oh, but they were glad I said something. And then we came and we developed like our own thing. And did it, and it ended up being a show that like ran for 2 years, and like it was really great. And I remember he like coming, like after the show, and he was like, he like just told us what a like pleasure it was to see us, like, and how much we loved each other and performing with each other, and he like just thought that was great, and that was like such a compliment to us. That was probably the biggest compliment I ever received, like. The best compliment I ever received acting wise. It wasn't even really to me. It was to like our class, our group. It was really like.
Anybody else in that group I might know?
Oh yeah, like Lauren Dowden, Jenny Hagel, Paula Pazdurka, Catherine Gottsick, Lee Galbraith, Dan Sipp, Pat Gallen, Dennis O'Toole, Tom Flanagan, Scott Recchia, Dave Gilly, probably leaving someone. Oh, and then like Joe Brady, Chris, who sometimes came, and then there was Dan from the Ukraine, and Jim Ruvalcaba. Yeah.
Okay, you got pretty much everybody.
I think I got everybody. I'm not sure.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I could not tell you.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying.
Teams with.
And we have very like.
Well, it's funny now because when I went to Chicago and I took Noah, now they do, everybody kind of develops their own form.
Right.
To put on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that started because of
you. Maybe I'm to blame for that.
You started that.
Maybe I started that trend. But, yeah, it was funny. And it was funny, too, because I remember hearing, like, because that was the thing, like, because I never had Del Close, but you would always hear things about him.
Of course.
And one of the things you would always hear is that he didn't think women were funny,
Right.
Like, you hear that all the time. And, like, that was, like, really because, like, all the best people, like, when I was, like, in my class, all the best people were the girls. Like, they were the funniest one. Like, Lauren and Jenny and all, like, Paul and all those, Catherine, they were, like, really aggressive and strong, like really funny. And so it was like, I was like, why did this guy, like, they were the best, always the best ones. And for me, like at that time too, like Stephanie Weir was there, and like Christina Gauss is like, I was put on a team with her. They were like amazing. And so that kind of, I was always like, did this guy know what he was talking about? Like, I mean,
that's a weird mentality to be stuck in.
Yeah, and so it was like strange.
But Del was a strange guy.
Oh, yeah. But it was just like, well, maybe it's for the best. He dropped dead. And I never had him. I don't know.
What was the mood like there when he did die? Because he died.
It was so weird
in his 60s.
Yeah,
He
and
died in the hospital.
Yeah,
and everybody kind of went to see him in the hospital.
and I didn't know, and like I just got there, and I remember then they have like a memorial thing, like a seance at the theater, and this girl's like eating his ashes, and I'm just like, what the fuck is going on with these people? And I'm like, I just had gotten there. I'm like, I don't know if I want to hang out here, like this is a little culty.
Weird vibe.
Yeah, it was weird. I'm like,
I'm sure he was a great guy,
but yeah, I'm like, he's not my savior. It's not like, I mean, was this guy Jesus Christ?
That's
like,
because you only had
I know,
one.
I only had Sharna at the time.
Yeah, you didn't get there. So now you worship Sharna.
Yeah, now I was busy doing the ad game in Sharna's class. Yeah. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird time.
So did you feel like you missed out on not having him as a teacher?
No, actually, no, because I was having a blast. Like that was just like part of the fun, really. That whole thing, yeah.
How long were you in Chicago?
I don't know. Probably same amount of time, 5 years.
5 years or so?
I don't know, 4 or 5
Were you
years.
on just a bunch of teams and different shows and stuff?
Yeah, like
Second City too?
I didn't really know. Like, we'll see. Like with that, like I took class there. That was one of the places I was like, I don't really like the classes there sucked.
Second City.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe it was the teachers I had. Like the one guy was just like, I mean, all he did was smoke my cigarettes the whole time and like talk about,
Did you smoke in class?
Oh yeah, you could smoke in
my
class.
God.
Like you couldn't even see the audience because you just smoke everywhere. Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah, you would smoke in class. Like I smoked so much in Chicago. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you would smoke in class.
Somebody smoked in my ayahuasca class. Who the fuck was it? It was a teacher that was maybe Miles.
Yeah,
it might have been.
Yeah, Miles.
Did I have Miles? I don't even know if.
Well, yeah, he would smoke in our class.
Somebody
well, in
smoked.
Chicago, yeah.
In Chicago.
You would smoke in class, yeah. Like at the Annoyance, you'd smoke in class, yeah. But like, yeah, Second City I never really jived with. And like I remember auditioning and like I got like a callback the one time. And then I remember like at the callback they were like, gave me a scene and then they were like, but don't do like your Bertrando characters with it. I was just like, well, why? Yeah, what does that mean? And then why would you call Bertrando back to tell him not to do what you do? Like I was like, okay. And then like that was the last time I auditioned. And then like, I was there, for years after that and did mostly like, I did, Actually, I wasn't on that many teams because the one I was on stuck around for a while.
Right.
And then I would do other, I did that class show ran forever. I did this other show, which was like, which again, it's like, which I feel people don't get who are doing improv now is like, it was great. That was probably the best show. It was called like The Subject. And it was like a group of us that Rush Hal put together, Rush?
Yep.
And like, it was a really strong group. He just picked people he wanted to perform with. And like we did one show and then a run of one show and then we changed the form, did another one, which was called The Subject, and changed the form, did another. And we each like had a different director, each one. Like and but like before like the show, before we even like did the show, I think we rehearsed like for 8 weeks before we even put up the show. You know what I mean? It was just like, and it was good. That show was good. Like you talk to people who are saying like that show was really good. Like you're just like, wow, I can't believe I was in that show.
Well, Rush is usually a part of good. Good shows.
He's fine. Like he's one of them. That's when like he's one of my favorite people to perform with, and we're like complete opposites as far as how we perform.
Yeah.
Like he's real smart, like gamey.
He's a lawyer.
Yeah, a lawyer. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what's going on ever, and so like.
You're a
somehow
barista.
It worked. Yeah, right. Yeah. My southern gay barista character and his, smart lawyer always hit it off. Like, but no, yeah.
Were you auditioning for stuff out there?
Yeah, and I did plays and stuff, and then I did. I did a lot of commercial work in Chicago, and that was really awesome.
Yeah,
because I made some bank when I was in Chicago. Yeah, I did. I actually really did. Yeah, like a lot. And like, of course I spent it all. Like went to like 900 Bruce Springsteen shows and like, you know, went to
Front row.
bars and eating every night. Oh yeah, of course. Well, like you get a GA ticket and then you'd wait, you know,
Right,
get in
right.
the lottery and all that shit. Yeah. And yeah, like traveled and just, you know, saving my
You
money.
travel a
Yeah.
lot. You like
Yeah,
to
I
travel.
like to travel. Yeah.
What was your last trip?
My last trip was to Argentina and Uruguay. I want to get away again, but money's tight. So
Nice, tight. You
yeah.
spent it all.
Yeah, basically.
And you did ayahuasca.
Yeah, that was my
time.
last trip. Yeah.
That was your last trip? Was
No,
that the
no,
last trip?
the second to last trip, not the
Second to last
Argentina one. That was before that one. The one before that one. Yeah.
Where was that? Peru?
Yeah. Well, I took that time. That was a long trip. I took a while. Like I took, you know, over half the year to like backpack around South America and like
Wow.
ended up in Peru for a couple months and did like ayahuasca there in the jungle, like 10-day retreat, all that stuff. Yeah, yeah. So I like,
incredible.
yeah. And so
I talked to you for my
Yeah.
New York Film Academy documentary
Right.
class. I interviewed you about that
Oh,
experience.
right, yeah, right.
It was so funny.
Yeah,
it was
it was
really
insane.
fascinating.
It was, yeah, it was.
I don't think
fascinating.
I could ever do it.
No, like my one friend, you know, I was just talking to. She was in town. You know Becky Drysdale. You know Becky, right?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
yeah. And she was like, we went out one night, but she was texting me about ayahuasca, and she was like, "I'm really sad." I was like, "Well, don't do it." I'm like, "It's no joke." I'm like, "That shit is no joke." So
Because
if
you're
you're gonna do it,
you're not-
like be
you're-
ready.
because
I mean, you can't really be ready, but it's no joke.
you take this drug or a drink or
Drink, yeah. I mean, yeah.
and it's
drink.
slop, right? It's like a slop
Yeah,
drink.
it tastes. It tastes awful. It tastes like shit gasoline. I don't know what. Yeah,
A little
I don't know.
both.
Yeah,
And then you trip balls for 6 hours or something.
yeah.
And then you're puking and shitting
Puking and shitting yourself
for 6 hours
Yeah,
and hallucinating
yeah. Yeah, crazy shit.
for like 5 days, right? You do that every day for 5 days.
Well,
or something?
like I would do. I forget. Like you'd have one day, you do it, and then the next day would be like, you know, tree bark ceremony, and you'd be eating, I don't know, drinking tea made from these, you know, whatever tree bark, and then
Right.
you'd have like, you know, and then you do it again. Yeah, like so over the days we did 5 ayahuasca days, and the other days sometimes you'd have a rest day, and
Yeah.
then the other day would be like you know, they had like a tobacco day, like I was like, I ain't doing that. It's just like, cause there's like about getting all the bad out of your system and all that, and like, but yeah, and like, you know, the month up to it, you weren't supposed to eat certain things or do certain things, and afterwards, you weren't supposed to eat certain things and do certain things, just so yeah. And like, I was like, I followed those instructions by the book. Yeah, yeah. yeah.
And what'd you get out of that?
I got a lot. Like, when I moved to New York, that was like a vision I had.
From LA.
Yeah, and then I had other like things like you know, personal stuff and like things that I didn't even know that I was like you know, holding resentment about or whatever,
To
and
people. or-
yeah, and people like weird stuff, and like, but one of the main, and like, it's not like, I mean, I think it is an ad campaign actually, because I saw it, but like one of the things, well, like there was a couple, but one of the main things was like choose like the, you know, there's this like Vine lady,
Right.
like, you know, communicating with me. It was
You're
fucking intense.
hallucinating.
Yeah,
apparently.
hallucinating. And but it wasn't like hallucinating. I can't describe it. Yeah, I mean, but she's coming in and she's telling me, you know, the one thing she was like, you know, you're God. I'm like, well, no. I was like, I don't want to be God. And she was like, yeah, but we're all God and God and this. And like, she led me to like, you know, she took me to death, and it was like this yellow with all these like black flashes going by. Like, I don't know if they were so, and like she wanted me to like dive in, and I was like, I don't know. And it was fucking crazy.
Was it the same every time?
No, it was always different. And then the other like big measure was like to choose love. And I'm like, well, of course. And then I'd start puking because I feel like I understood what the message was, and like I'd puke, and they're like, no, so you don't get it. And then like I'd get
That's interesting because you've never been in love.
well, but see, and that's what I thought it was meant, that they're like, you know, they're whoever they are who's like giving me these messages
Right.
while I'm like sweating and shitting myself on the like in darkness with crazy people around me. they were like choose like even like like I would get then like I'd be in a grocery store like literally like but it's a hallucination but
Mhm.
and then like there'd be someone in front of me like taking too long and I'd get mad and then I'd start puking like in the hut and they're like yeah see there you didn't choose love like you instead of you chose to get like and like every situation you had to choose love every situation
So if you didn't, you'd throw
then
up.
I'd throw up.
So it was like a punishment if you didn't choose.
Well, it was like, see, you have like you think you understand, and
You
it's like,
don't.
no, you don't. And it's like,
Do you think you understand now?
yeah, but it's hard. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Do you
not-
choose love?
I try as much as I can, and it has to do with like forgiving. Like I'm going through a thing now that I won't talk about, which requires me to forgive like
Oh,
some people.
can you talk about it?
No,
Can
because
you
it's too.
Can you be vague about it?
I can be vague about, it, but it's
Okay.
like it's too soon. It's like a joke. It's too soon. It's too soon. You know
What,
how
it
you
just
say about a
happened?
joke. Yeah, it was a pretty recent event, and I felt very like taken advantage of because I'm a good friend. I'm a
Yeah.
good friend. Like
You are.
everyone,
I agree.
right? I'm a
Yeah.
good dude, and so like I was like, whoa, like I was stunned, really stunned. Like
Oh, no.
last Sunday, I was just like, wow.
Last Sunday.
Yeah, last Sunday,
Okay.
and this happened, and like
So the Oscars?
it was the Oscars. I was snubbed again. I was just mortified.
Is that what happened?
Couldn't believe it. Thought for sure no, but and like I was just like, that's funny. It was at the Oscars. That's interesting.
Was
It's
that
like,
day?
yeah, it may have. Yeah, no, was that last Sunday?
I think so.
Maybe it wasn't. But whatever. And I was just like, wow. I was just like, because I was hurt by one of these people before, but like I forget.
Friends of you?
Yeah,
Yours?
friends of mine.
So it's multiple people. Like
And
a
this
group
time
or
it was
two or
this time it was like three people.
three people screwed
Yeah.
you over at once?
Not like screw me. I'm just like really. I was just like, wow, you guys like have no like respect for like my feelings.
Oh.
Like it was that like I felt like I've never like so it's very surprising too
Yeah.
because I'm like I've never felt this way
Hmm.
ever in my life like this like I felt betrayed and like humiliated
Did you
all
get
these
mad at-
things.
Like, did you
I haven't
argue or
I
anything?
haven't
talk to them?
talked to them.
Okay.
I got a text message from one of them, like, which was like,
They know you're
about
mad?
something else.
Okay.
Like, I gotta get this to you, and then like I don't
You
fucking
respond.
like it was late too. I was like in bed, but then
So they don't
I,
know you're mad.
So I was in bed. Well, then like I
Okay.
wake up, and like and then I see the rest of these text messages. Text messages like, I hope you're not mad at me.
Mm.
Like, and I'm like, oh, so at least
You have something.
you've done something. Like I haven't said anything. Why would you think I'm mad? Like I haven't contacted you.
Uh-huh.
I haven't said so. I'm like, okay, well at least
Okay.
you're a douchebag. I guess that's something.
Mm.
Awareness is good. So now I have to work on forgiving. But that was like I think the choosing love thing is a lot about forgiveness.
Do you think you could
It's hard, though.
remain friends with these people? I mean, I guess a talk.
I'm
needs to
not
happen,
sure.
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
If they apologize or something.
No, and like I think the two, I'm like the one hurts more than the other two. Although the other two hurt, I was just like, wow. Because I mean, yeah, not to get into it, but like before this, like, I mean, I did some really, and not to pat myself on the back, I did because I wanted to. It was really fun, but I did some really nice things
Okay.
for these people,
these people.
like really nice things.
Can you say what you did that was nice for them?
Like help them with things and plan things for them and celebrated them and
Okay.
some nice stuff
nice
and
stuff.
like this thing.
You've never done that for me.
No, I never did that for you. But and then I think a lot of it too is I felt like I'm not big into lying and like they had withheld truth and lied to me.
Okay.
And so at least that's how I feel,
Sure.
And I think obviously from that text message, one of them may feel the same that they, did that.
Right.
And so, but I've never I mean, I've been mad at a friend before because like, you know, but never like, you know, never anything like this. And so that's, I think, maybe putting me to the test with this forgiveness thing. Yeah.
The Vine lady is here testing you.
Yeah. The Vine lady is like, see, at least I haven't started puking yet. So, yeah, I'll shit myself while I talk to these guys again. But yeah, it's too bad. Yeah, it's sad. I felt bad. Like, and I never feel sad, and this made me feel sad. Like, I mean, I feel angry times, but this made me feel sad. I was like, that's.
Do you do therapy? You ever go to therapy?
I mean, I have before, but no, not
really. No. It's good. Having a therapist at times like this is good.
Yeah, I mean, I went to like, I had a therapist because I've been going, like, I have been like up and down this year. And so, like, I went to a therapist in October, and this dude was weird. And like the one day, like this was our last session, I was like, well, I'm not going back. This guy's
How many sessions
did you do? Like 4 maybe.
Oh, okay.
But the one, he was like, hey, you know, say our appointment's at noon. I'm going to be like 10 minutes late or whatever. You know, just wait outside the office, not come, because it's like, you know, in the Flatiron, he has to unlock the office or whatever. And you're in the, and so like, I'm waiting for him. And so I'm just waiting in the hallway, and I got to, you know, pee. And like, so there's like, you know, it's like one of those, you know, and everything's like, you know, another psychiatrist's office, like esthetician office, whatever. And so I go into the esthetician's, and I'm like, can I give the key for the bathroom? I'm waiting, you know, for Dr. So-and-so. And they're like, sure. And like, so I get the key in the bathroom, and like, you know, I go pee, and like, there's someone like shitting, you know, in the stall, like in the men's room, which I'm like, oh, well, you know, whatever. That's the men's room. That's what people do. And then I'm like, you know, and I get out, and then I'm like, I'm like waiting by the hall, and then, you know, and then like right after I bring the key back, and I'm like waiting in the hall, and then like the doctor shows up, and like, he has like, it shades like all disheveled, and like on his shirt is like wet marks from like the sink. So I'm like, oh, he was the one like shitting in there. Yeah. And then he was like, give me a second. And he goes in the office, and then he like changed his shirt, and then went back. And then the whole time I'm just like skeeved out. I'm just like, I can't go back to this guy. Yeah. So I'm like, so that's the last therapist.
Yeah, that's what you should have talked about. It's like,
well, I should have. Well, then the one time too, he goes to me, he's like, so your dad's kind of a failure to you. I'm like, wait, what? I was like, I never said that. Who said that? I'm like, wait a minute, don't, like, I never thought that. It was like weird. Yeah. I'm like, are you trying to like?
Is your dad still teaching?
No, he's retired. Yeah,
so he's a failure.
Yeah, so he's a failure apparently. I don't know. I didn't know that.
I had a therapist once. I only saw him twice. And the second time I decided, well, that's the end of this guy. Because I get there. It was at his house.
Yeah.
And I go, hey, you know, how's it going? He goes, my last patient drove off my driveway onto my lawn. The idiot.
Okay, well.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, oh, I got to go.
Like, well, look at the time. I think our session's over.
Here's $20.
He just called his patient an idiot.
Yeah.
I know it's a dumb thing to do, but it could have been an accident. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Well, I had a therapist in Chicago, and she liked me. She had a crush on me.
Oh no.
Yeah, she did.
Well, who could resist?
I mean, but I was funny, and like I was young, and I was like up to no good, and like her and like the other second, like they came to see me in a show, like at I.O.
Oh, she came to see you.
Yeah, and I was like hosting the show, and you know, I'm funny, you know, and like, you know, and then like.
Were you tempted? Was she cute?
She was attractive, yeah, and it was like kind of like that Dr. Melfi like Sopranos thing with the short skirt on and all that. It was really like funny actually. And but then like it was her, and then like the guy I had as like group therapy. I'd go to group therapy. I'd have to go to her and my group therapy because I had like a breakdown in Chicago. I was like partying too hard, like and like, you know, and so I had to like, you know, and like a group therapist guy who came to, like, it was like an anxiety workshop. Like it was all these nut jobs, and like and like the first day he like gave us just like this stack of papers to fill out, And like, you know, he's like, oh, we got 20 minutes to do this. And like, that's like the worst thing you can do to people with anxiety.
Yeah, just
like,
say, hurry up.
Like, oh my
Hurry up.
God, we got all this shit to do. And like, yeah, he came to see me in the show and he would tell the people, I was just like, this is too weird, man. Yeah, it was weird. And it was a sad group of people too. It was really sad, which I guess that's why, I mean, at least like group therapy is like, well, at least I'm not like that guy, you know, or at least I'm not that girl. And it's just like, it was fucked up.
I guess. You hear that noise?
Yeah.
So my Deborah took a shower earlier, like
all right, she's not
2 hours ago, 3 hours ago.
Takes that long to turn off the water?
Well, no, it's been off, and then out of nowhere, whatever water's left over in the pipes just starts falling out. So it'll stop in a minute. But
that's fine.
Weird. I went to a group therapy once. And nobody said anything. I'm like, I'm talking. I'm like, nobody's saying anything. What are we doing here? This is a waste of time. I didn't go back.
Yeah.
I was like, come on, guys. It's...
Well, like they were like, he liked having me there. He told me because he was like, you're honest, and like, and he's like, these people need to be, and I think that's why they like it too, because like I guess the therapist can't be like, hey, you know, you're being in the douchebag, you know what I mean? But like if you're in group therapy, like I would be like, hey, you're kind of being a dick, you know. And therapy now, and I'm not going to go to therapy over these, you know, three buffoons.
Okay.
You know, I mean, they're not buffoons. I mean, I don't know. The one guy, literally, if I was telling this other friend last night, I was like, if I see this guy in the street, I may punch him in the face.
Oh, no.
Like, yeah, I was
that's
like,
not choosing
I'm
those.
Just not, I know, that's not choosing, but I don't like, it's so fake. I can't stand fake, and when people lie to me, that's just dishonest. I don't like it. I don't like it.
That's bad.
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's not good.
Yeah, it was fake.
What are you up to these days?
These days, nothing.
You working?
No. I'm like writing. I'm writing something.
You were doing Airbnb stuff.
I'm Airbnb. That's my job.
Are you still doing
Airbnb? Yeah, I have some girl I haven't even seen her yet. She's at my apartment. But actually, in January and February, I didn't do any Airbnb.
Yeah,
because it's slow and it's the winter, and so like in the winter I'm home more just because I fucking and so like I don't want some fucking guy from Germany in my house when I'm there, you know, and like so.
Yeah, any weird experiences with that?
Airbnb? Yeah, I had some girl from Germany break my refrigerator and then lie about it, and now I'm out like $100. She's like smashed the glass inside. She's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, well, who did? Because I haven't been here in a week, and you have. So unless you had someone else here,
she had people over or something.
Nah, she just broke it, and she also broke my door, which she didn't admit. So that was But other than that, that was the only bad thing. It's good money, but I don't know.
Writing or anything?
Yeah, writing. I'm working on something with someone who it's really funny, and I hope it'll be good. And then I'm doing my new thing is because like in this I got into like traveling. I was always like because I like doing comedy and stuff, but when I travel I can't do it, and I can't really act in any other country besides this one because sound like the gringo guy. So I've been like real interested in like busking like clown kind of stuff. Okay. And so I've been taking this solo performance class and working on like basically like clown bits.
Okay, where's this?
At a Barrow Group. This dude named Seth Barish or something. He's like a director over there, and he does this class, and it's been good. It's been good. I like him because I like they laugh. Like again, I think maybe I should keep my mouth shut sometimes because like I said, like the first class, I was like, I don't know, I don't really like solo shows. I think they're awful. And they're like, well, why? I'm like, but that's a challenge, And then I was telling I want to do this clown stuff, and I took this clown workshop, like, and it was like, with this guy from Yale who's like the authority on. Everyone's like, oh, you got to take this guy's class. And I'm like, okay. And it's like this 2-day workshop. What a fucking waste of money. This guy was the biggest fraud. Really? And he's like, I came up with these exercises. I was like, that's funny. You should maybe want to talk to Sharna Halperner, to see, like, we're doing improvised songs. And it's like, really? This is in a clown workshop? And like, and it's funny, like, even that, like people like outs like because I like the one day he was like, I don't think you're enjoying this. I'm like, well, no, I'm not. I feel like you ripped me off. I told him to his face.
Wow.
And like then the other people like in the class, like a couple of them outside were like, it's good you said that. I can't believe we're doing this. And I'm like, well, and then you're back in class, they're all like,
Right.
oh, I love this. And like I'm like, you guys are such fun. But that's those actor people, they're afraid like they're not going to get cast in this guy's next thing. I'm like, you just blew $500.
They're afraid of conflict. Though,
Yeah. Well, and they all like everyone's so busy networking that.
Why are you so not afraid of conflict?
I'm not afraid of it.
I don't think you are. You
don't
seem
know.
to be okay with telling somebody, hey, this.
Well, I don't think that's conflict. I guess.
You don't think so?
Like, I mean, if I'm paying for a class and you're a fraud and you lie and I'm not the one causing the conflict.
Would keep their mouths shut and just leave the class or whatever.
Well, I pay $500, $400, which I think is a travesty.
Yeah. I think you got some balls on. I mean, you said
but like this guy, and that's what we joke. Well, but see, that you think that's kind of like I said that to know because I respected him.
Yeah.
Like I really respect him and like respected him as a teacher, a performer, an artist, and so like he deserves me being honest with him. Why would I lie to someone? Like I don't think that's conflict.
Yeah.
But like, this guy. But this guy, so he always teases me. He's like. You said, like, because I did this thing. He's like, well, is this class awful? He asked me. I was like, no, so far you're okay. And like, but so.
So you took his class again?
No, this is the new guy. I was telling him about the clown workshop I took because I don't know anything about it. And this guy is like a real theater guy, knows all this stuff. And so I was, questioning him about it. But it's a good class. So I'm excited to. I got a couple, judging from the class, like these people were like, dying of laughter at these two things I did. I was like, oh, okay. So that makes me feel good because it's all like, I don't talk. It's just like, bullshit. But we'll see.
I saw a movie recently called Get Out.
I haven't seen it yet.
Written and directed by Jordan Peele, who you're familiar with.
I'm familiar with him from Chicago and Los Angeles. Yes, I know Jordan.
Did you live together too?
Did Jordan and I live together ever? No.
But he was at your place a lot, right?
Oh yeah, he was at my place a lot for sure. In LA or in Chicago? Well, in Chicago.
I don't know. I know in LA.
Yeah, I met them I always think of Jordan and Becky together because like they came to Chicago together and they did a show together.
Becky
Drysdale. And so I always think of them together. So yeah, I knew them in Chicago.
Yeah.
And
he did Boom Chicago.
Yeah,
did you ever audition for Boom?
I did, yeah. And they wanted that. Like I was on their short list, but then I never went over. And then by the time, and then I stopped auditioning. I was kind of like, not. I was on to other things at that time. I wanted to it would have been cool, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I was at that time ready to. I wanted to go somewhere different, but not. Yeah, I wanted to go to Los Angeles, I think, yeah.
Do you watch Superstore?
I don't. No, I know. And I know Colton's on there.
Colton Dunn is on there.
Someone else I know.
Irene White's on there now.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like as a regular
I don't know if she, but I've seen her promoted
I love
on
Irene
Facebook.
White. I think she's great.
Yeah,
and I know like another woman
Lauren
who writes
Pritchard?
for that show, Vanessa.
Vanessa Ramos?
Yeah.
Is she right for that?
I think so, yeah.
I know Vanessa.
I remember
From
her from
iOS.
iOS. Yeah, she was great. She was really nice. She's still, still is, but like, yeah, so that's funny. And yeah, somebody else.
Because you had a house off
God.
of Sunset.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's even there anymore. I don't know.
The
That
house
was a nightmare. Yeah.
It was a funny house because it was very much like almost like a fraternity house or something.
I would call it more like a crack house where we had like homeless people coming out, and I was I was not in a good place in that place. Oh my God.
It was right next to a liquor store.
Yeah.
Off of Sunset.
There was like needles in the backyard from like junkies,
Oh my God. You guys had parties there a lot.
Don't say you I didn't. I would like barricade myself upstairs and like just pray that like the house wouldn't burn down.
I went to a couple parties there, and then I asked Colton if it was alright if I had, or maybe you.
You had a party there.
If I could have my 30th birthday there.
I remember that. Yeah.
And it was like my favorite birthday ever.
Yeah, it was awesome.
There was tons of people. Half the people I didn't know.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, they always had parties. It was fun. I mean, I just like I was going through some shit then.
What were you going through?
Lifestyle, personal stuff, family stuff, and all that stuff. And then I was like getting into, like meditating. It was just like life changes and all that, and like that environment was so like bad for me. Like, I mean, it was like. I mean, I was afraid, like literally, to walk around in bare feet. Like, couldn't use the kitchen. I mean, it was so disgusting that it was. I remember, like, I was like, I went away. I went on a meditation retreat for 10 days, silent, and I came back like
the chaos.
And I walk in the kitchen and I had to throw out all my dishes because the sink was full of dishes and maggots.
Oh.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow. And I was just like, wow, I got to get out of here.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was just like.
Who else did you live with? Was that
Andy?
Andy. Oh, Andy.
Yeah.
Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Ritchie.
Yeah.
He passed away.
I know. Who you told me, and I had no idea. I texted, actually, that's the last time I heard from Colton. I texted him. I was like, I had no idea. And like, yeah, that was really sad.
Andy Ritchie. Yeah, he passed away recently, last year or so.
I don't know. You're the one who told me. I had no idea. Yeah, it was so sad.
Brain tumor.
It's really crazy. And
I
had
nice guy
friend.
though.
Yeah, nice guy.
Terrible
funny
roommate.
guy. Terrible roommate, but really, he was funny. He was a good stand-up.
He was very funny.
Really funny. Yeah.
So it's just the three of you, basically?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For like how many years? Like a couple of years?
I think I was only there one. I had to get out. Or was I there two? I don't know.
Colton was there for a while, right?
Yeah, Colton was there forever. Yeah, he stayed. Yeah, it just wasn't conducive for living. Yeah, it was really, and just like, I was trying to get away from, because I like partied a lot. I was trying to get away from that and be healthy, and it was just like not the place to be doing that. And like, I think, whatever. We're young and we're all crazy comedians and doing whatever. It's like,
Now you're in Williamsburg.
Now I'm in Williamsburg.
How do you like that?
I like it. I do like it. It's really nice. I mean, it's, I have to wear headphones in the coffee shop or I get too angry, like overhearing people's conversations that I just want to, it's awful.
You have like a little bit of a rage.
I do.
Right?
I have an inner rage.
You got a little bit of that.
I have an outer rage too.
You have some of that too.
Inner.
Where does that come from? Do you know why you have that?
I don't know, Dr. EJ. Why don't you tell me? Where does it come from? I don't know. Sound like
were you picked on or something when you were a kid?
Oh yeah, relentlessly.
Were you really?
Oh yeah, of course.
Other kids?
Well, no, like 40-year-old adults were picking on.
Or your brothers?
Yeah, my brothers. Like, yeah, there's. I mean, yeah, students. Because I was different. Like than. I wasn't weird. I was tiny. I was small, and like I wasn't.
So you got picked on.
Yeah, I wasn't athletic. Although, I found out in later years I actually was athletic. I just never I wasn't into like sports, like group. Like I remember being on the soccer team. I was like, I fucking hate this. Like, and I didn't really hate like the actual playing of it. I hated like the shit on the sidelines where you have to be like huddled up in the group and be like, come on guys, and like all that bullshit. Like it's just like, yeah, not into.
Well, it's interesting. So you're trying to be more spiritual.
Yeah, I tried. Like I got into that. Yeah, no, for sure. But I had an interest in spirituality from an early age. I would go to church every day, and like to the point where my grandfather was like, "You gotta stop going to church." It like scared him. He was like, "What's going on with you?"
Because he wasn't religious, or
he wasn't. He didn't go to church. He would every now and again, but like what was so great, which I find fascinating about him, he was not religious, but he did all those things that if you're a good Catholic, you should do. Like he was like, if you were sick, he'd visit you, bring you some, you know what I mean?
Right.
If you
wash your feet.
Yeah, like needed help, he did all those, what are they, the Beatitudes or whatever?
I don't know.
That's terrible, EJ. But he would do those without, going to church.
Are your parents religious?
Yeah, they go to church every day.
Go to church.
Yeah.
So where's your?
Or not every day, every Sunday.
Do you still go to church?
I started again recently.
You did. How's that?
Yeah. it's been good because, like, actually, a friend of mine, one of these same friends who,
one of the jerks.
one of the, which one? One of the betrayed. What was it? Thomas who betrayed Jesus, or Paul, Peter? I don't know.
Judas?
Judas. Yeah, Judas. No, he's not that bad. But like, took me to a church, like, because the friends, like, this girl was from, I don't know what happened. Like, this girl was from out of town, came in, and so I was like, I'll go. Like, yeah, because I was like, yeah, I'll go. And like, I was like, first of all, they changed all the words to the prayers. So like, some, like, you like, being Catholic, growing up Catholic, like, I could recite the whole mass to you.
Sure.
Like, because it's so ingrained. But like, they changed like a couple words here and there, and it was like jarring. But like, this church is like it's kind of like in Columbus Circle, and it's like really like progressive and like really like, I mean, the one, like, this there, like, this priest gave a sermon. Literally, people were clapping afterwards, and I was like, what? And it was really good. I mean, it was like about, like, I think the Tennessee football team or something, and it was
good.
Oh my God, it was great. And then, but then also, it's like right, near Columbus Circle, so like the choir is like these Broadway singers. So like, literally, like, in Christmas, I went, like, after Christmas, I went with these friends, and like, this guy got up there, and it was like my mom's favorite Christmas song. And like, this guy got up during, like, you go get communion, and then they always sing a song as you're, like, the communion meditation song or whatever. And like, this guy starts singing "Oh Holy Night." Do you know that song?
Sure.
I'm like in tears. Like, people are crying. I mean, it was so like good. You could have. It was like watching, like, something. But yeah, so like, I go there, not regularly, but like a pretty regular. I mean, more like, I hadn't been to church in like, Christ, like 15 years.
Yeah. Okay.
And so like, these people, like, it's funny because Italians go, and this friend of mine, like, they're Hispanic, and so they love their church, they're into it, it's like, whereas like, I'm like, in my church, like, you say the Our Father or whatever, they're like, when I go with these friends, like, when you say the Our Father, like, they hold my hands and stuff, I'm like, oh God, I'm like, this is so uncomfortable. And it's like weird. Just like, and like, where you give people, like, they're like, sign a peace, like, I'm like my mom. I don't like, we're very like kind of private, standoffish a little bit. And like, so, I'll shake your hand, but usually I just like kind of wave to people. And like, my friends like hug, like, I'm like, oh God, I'm like, okay, yeah, peace be with you. I'm like, oh man,
I hated that part.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Shaking other people's hands, strangers.
Yeah. I was just talking to my mom one time. She was like sick because she was like, I think because I shook this guy's hand at church, and I knew I didn't want to shake it, and and they make you feel like you have to. I'm like, yeah,
I get the stuff, the
Purell
stuff.
Yeah, to wipe off the Nazi graffiti on the subways, like Chelsea Clinton does.
But, how are you feeling about the Trump administration? Are they doing a good job?
Oh, yeah, they're extraordinary. It's really, everyone is so happy, and everything is so positive.
Yeah.
It's scary. Like, I mean, it's terrible. It's a shame. Like, I can't talk to my father.
He's
he's very, and it's just like, I mean, it's just so ridiculous, and it's like...
Is he a supporter of Trump's?
Or is he just I mean, okay. I don't know. I can't talk about it. I was like, I'm not talking about this because it's like too upsetting to me that you're this stupid. And so like...
He's a failure, right?
Yeah, he's a failure. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's upsetting, but I try to avoid it. But like, I had it like... affects me like personally. Actually, I had a friend here who was like going through some shit, and he's not a citizen here. And like, he left, but I don't know if he'll be able to ever come back, and he's gonna need to, and so that's shit like that. I'm like, this shit, like, people think it's just like, I mean, honestly, has it affected me? Like, I'm gonna still live my life, but like, it does really affect people. Like now, like this friend of mine,
ripple effect, right?
It really, affects him. Yeah, in a bad way. And so, yeah, it's yeah, and I just don't. There's just so much negativity and like these. I mean, it's just it's awful. It's awful. It's awful. And like, yeah, just and that's why I go at this church, and this church is like, pro-immigrant,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, oh yeah, 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 and they'll say it right at mass, and we're like, they said there are no walls here, everyone's welcome. They always, yeah, put in a little Trump jab.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think it's disgusting. But whatever, there's people. That was what's weird. Like during my reunion was right before the election. I know like all those people, not all, like a lot of my friends from high school voted for Trump.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do? Well, they're people too. So
I guess they're people.
yeah, I mean,
Trump's a person, right?
Yeah, Trump's a person.
Kind
of. It's just like this. Yeah, it's very divisive. So I try to,
I looked on your IMDb.
You did? What was on? I've never seen it. You sure it was me? Maybe it was the other Michael Bertrando.
Michael Bertrando. You were in Sisters?
I did.
Right?
Well,
the party scene?
Kay got me a job in that.
Uncredited.
I was basically, but like the one thing I got to do was really cool. Like Tina Fey, it was like the guy who was like, you spilled dip or whatever. Because, I didn't even see it. Honestly,
yeah, I did see it.
I heard it was not good, but
it's okay.
But anyway, but yeah, and so like I got this thing where I spilled dip, and like she like smacks me on the head, and it's like Mike, and I can see why now. I'm like I can see probably why that didn't make it in the movie, because I'm like no, it wasn't me or whatever, and like I think Tina Fey's line was like I'm the party mother. I'm your party mother, not your party slave. And like, man, I was like, that's probably why it didn't make it into
got cut.
Yeah.
You got cut.
Yeah, but I think but it was good because it was like I was there like for numerous days.
Good
yeah, and it was fun to you make friends, and it was interesting.
How was Tina and Amy? And
yeah, they were really nice. I mean, I didn't have that was the only really interaction with them.
Did they know you're an IO Chicago guy?
I didn't mention that shit. Like I didn't talk to anybody. I don't talk to people. I talked to Rachel Drash. I was like, I loved your, whatever. And we talked. And I know a couple people like the one days, Ike, one of the guys. Yeah, Ike. I forgot. Yeah, I would talk to him. But basically, I just sat there and I was paired up with this girl I would talk to because we were drunk or something. I forget, I even forget her name, but she was real nice. She was a dancer. So that was good. You meet and because I had just moved here. And so I learned what was going on. And that's what I like about LA. Everyone kind of does the same thing. But then you talk to these actors in New York. You're like, oh yeah, she's a dancer and it's been on, bro. There's cool,
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They do cool shit. So that was cool.
You did a movie
I did.
that had Chevy Chase in it.
Oh my God, that was in Chicago, yeah.
Bad Meat or
Bad
something?
Meat, yeah, dude. Bad Meat.
Did you get to meet Chevy Chase or work with him at all?
No. I got to meet, who did I meet? I forget who my scene with. My scene may have been with, I was a factory worker.
Okay.
I forget, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I haven't done shit, dude. God, what was that guy's name?
You have a couple shorts on there that you acted in, I guess.
Yeah,
and one you wrote. Something you wrote.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you wrote something on there too.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't even know. I don't know.
You should go on.
I should Google myself.
You gotta put a picture up.
Put a picture up?
Yeah, there's no picture of you.
Oh, really? I'll put a nudie. Put a dick pic. Yeah. No, are you allowed to do that?
I don't know.
Maybe. All right, I'll do that. Yeah.
Maybe no one's tried.
I'll put a picture up. No, yeah, I don't know. No, I don't do anything. It doesn't, I'm not an internet person, so I don't, I don't know. I mean, I am an internet person, but not that, more bullshit stuff.
And you were just recently teaching at Annoyance in New York.
Yeah.
Which is closing.
Which is closing.
Is it going to change locations?
I mean, that's what they say, but I can't see that. I mean, I don't know.
They did that in Chicago. They would close and then they'd open.
Yeah, I know.
For 30 years.
I stopped teaching before, the decision they were going to close. I stopped last summer, really. I just kind of, I had enough. Really,
teaching.
yeah. I wasn't getting much out of it, whereas before I was, and I was doing it for 2 years, and I think, okay, I can stop now, and then you kind of run out of things to teach people, and like, I don't know, get a break, and like, I was just like, I don't know if they want me to teach them what I want to teach them. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I don't know. It's like, I don't know.
I see.
But I liked it, and there's a couple students who I really thought were great. And then, there's a couple who I think, and I talked to other friends from Chicago, I think, I don't know. And again, I don't like talk disparagingly about, things, but like, I think I hope, like, I think there seems to be a little lack of respect for the stage. Like, and I was talking to a friend about this, and I'm like, yeah, you're right. She had said that to me. I was like, I think that's, you know, really prevalent in like the comedy worlds, and especially like what I was seeing. It's just like, you know, doing a sketch show that, they don't even know the lines.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not rehearsed. Sometimes they'd have like a piece of paper with them. I'm like, everything's like become an open mic. You know what I mean? It's just like no one
improvised.
wants to be, and like, but even like that's what I was saying. Like, even like, I think improv, dude, like this, just like, you don't understand. Like, I would try to like that show I was saying was so good, or like even like our class show, which was so good, is because we rehearsed together repeatedly for months before we even got on stage.
Yeah.
It's just like, and then
yeah, and I was taking UCB classes.
Yeah.
And even I took a class at Magnet too, and they would try to get together and try to plan a rehearsal and all that stuff. And I never did any of it.
Never.
I'm a little past that.
Well, yeah, and like, yeah, and then and that's what's hard now, is like there's very few people who I want to perform with that I know here, and so that's hard, and that's the hard thing with improvising. Yeah, as I said, there's there's no people, and so it's hard, and the ones who I would want to perform with are all doing, they ain't doing shows at like,
they're writing and directing.
They're writing. Yeah, right. Exactly. They got other fish to fry. But I really miss that, because I love that. That's still my favorite thing to do, and that's like, it was really fun. But I did get to do, like, at the Annoyance I did, which was like such a pleasure, is like do shows with Christina Galsis, and she she's still, I mean, she's like one of the best, like, by far. And like, it's always like, she's just so, and that's what, it's just so like, doing shows like, with whoever, I do like some show, and like we never rehearsed together, and there's gonna be some, whatever show, and then like, with her, like, I know her so well, we performed together so many times, and it's just so, and she's just so like, invested in like what's going on, and that's kind of like what I hated about performing sometimes out here. And I loved people I perform with, but like, I would get on stage, I'd be like really invested, and then they're kind of like, not as invested in the scene. They're kind of, and so it like makes me feel kind of like an asshole, because it's like, oh, I'm up here like trying acting, and I'm just like, you guys are just kind of goofing off. You know what I mean? And it's just like, whatever. And like, I'm like, whatever, okay. So I guess I'll, and so it was a real treat to get to like do scenes, like, and stuff. I feel like she's just so good.
You ever think about moving back to LA or Chicago?
Not Chicago. I mean, I love Chicago. It's just, I can't take that winter. And LA, I love it, but like, my family's out as close to here, and that's one of the other reasons I moved back to New York, was because my family's close. But I hope to I hope to make some money. Like, writing is something that I never, really pursue. I mean, I have, but like, I'm more into, I like doing that now. New York has like really opened up those possibilities for me, because I think in Los Angeles, it's more about, or at least for me, it was more about like, I got to write my screenplay and I got to write a pilot and take, Mike McCarthy's pilot class,
Right.
And
Which I did
too. Oh boy. I was like, wow. They even come see my thing read. I was just like, wow, okay. Great. And so, it was all about, and like here, I'm like, I wrote a musical, I'm writing one man, you know what I mean? It's like more like, I was like, oh, like, yeah, it's more creative, it's more creative.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah.
And like, I was creative in Los Angeles too, for sure. I did like lots of fun stuff, but it was more, lots of improv, and I loved it. It was so great. And like, I got to perform out there with like great people, like, Craig Gowsey and all those guys. I mean, like, I'm like doing COG and like, Scott Adsit would be in it.
So good.
Like,
I got to be in it a couple times.
You got to be in it when I wasn't there, I think, right? Because I wouldn't ever perform with you.
That's not true.
Right? No?
That's not true.
But yeah, that was great. So I got to perform with like really cool people like out in Los Angeles. So that was cool. Yeah, I love that. And
Adsit's out here most of the time.
What's that?
Adsit. He's out
here. But I don't really know him.
Yeah,
it's not, I don't. I only got to perform with him because he was, friends with those guys and would sit in with us. And like, and like, Craig, and then other people who aren't so like Irene, like I did a show with her before. There's some other people out there who I loved, like
Funk.
Yeah, well, Josh Funk is fucking, he's amazing. He's great. And then like my team like out there was so fun, like Jim Woods and like I were on the scene too. We had like, oh my God, we had some funny bullshit. Like Kay was on my team. We had some funny shit.
Seamus.
Kay was in my team in Chicago too. Seamus, I knew him from Chicago too.
Some good
all
people.
Those, some great, Brendan Hunt. We had fun. God, like so many, like Kate Purdy and like, oh my God, we had like some really fun people.
So good.
Yeah, some really great
so
people.
Good. A lot of those guys are like writing stuff.
Yeah, and they should be. They're like fucking.
Kay, of course.
Kay is like
Pitch Perfect 3.
She owns Hollywood, I think. She just bought Hollywood.
Girl Boss on Netflix and all sorts of cool stuff.
And like, she's, she was always, she still is. I just saw her not recently, but like at a wedding. She's just so nice and like fun and like, and she's one of, like, I never ask anybody for anything, but I was like moved here and I saw that Sisters movie was going, so I like messaged Kay. I was like, hey, can you give me a job? And then like I was like, I'll fucking like milk a cow. And like she put a word in for me. It was really nice. It was really nice. And but she was always fun to perform with too. She was fun, she's like always like that's someone.
She's one of the funny women.
Yeah, and then but it's also like she's someone who, if I go out on stage and am invested in going crazy, she's gonna also do you know what I mean? She's not gonna like stand in judgment at me,
let you sing.
Yeah, right. And so that was. And like Lauren Dowden was out there when I was there. She's great. She's one of my, I love performing with her. Those are like, all those guys.
Well, I miss performing with you.
Yeah, I performed with you out here. I did, what was that show you did?
Shooting the Shit?
Was that what it was called? Shooting the Shit?
Yeah.
Shooting my scene partner. That's what it should have been called. It's like,
that's a good show.
I was so tired after that show, after carrying you for I do.
Who did you do it with? It was you. Usually there's.
No, it's just me and you.
It's just you and me.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah. Usually it's.
No, usually, but I was so good that you were like, let's just do me and Bertrando. I think that's what happened.
It was the best ever.
It was the best one. I think that's what they said. I think, James Grace. It was the last show he saw before he was fired. It was that good that he sexually harassed everyone afterwards. It was canned. So how inspiring it was.
That was some controversial stuff over there.
Oh wow, I'm glad I missed that. Oof. Yeah,
that's another podcast.
Well, that's a whole thing. I mean, that's still. Don't get me started on that.
Yeah. You want to plug anything? You want to do you have Twitter or Instagram and stuff? You want to plug any of that stuff?
What do you mean? I want people to play. Yeah, Instagram. I want to see people's Instagrams.
No, they follow you.
Okay, yeah.
Will you go to Argentina and put?
Oh yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, they can follow me on Instagram.
Well, I would say go see him at Annoyance, but that's closing
Yeah,
soon.
that's
This is going to
closing.
be up after
Yeah,
that, probably.
I have a show coming up. I want to get this one man thing together with my clowning stuff. I'll have something to plug.
All right.
Yeah.
I might miss it.
Well, that's all right. I'll tape it for you.
Please
and send
do.
it via.
Stream it, live stream it.
And I'll put it on my Instagram.
Put it on your Instagram.
Yeah. Yo Bertrando, I think is my Instagram.
Yo Bertrando.
Yeah, I think so.
Go follow Mike.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Go tell him how much you loved.
Yeah,
him
no
on
one's
the
gonna
show.
listen. How many people listen to this? 4?
100. I just got signed.
100.
I know 100. I was gonna say just got signed. Well, yeah, I'm gonna be a part of iHeartRadio. Do you know iHeartRadio?
No.
So there's 100 million. It's an app and a website,
wow.
I guess. 100 million people.
So 100 million people are going to hear this?
That's right.
Wow, I'm going to get a lot of
That's right.
followers. Wow. Wow.
Well, they download the app, so we'll see how many.
Oh, and then, wait, I want to plug Sam's Sub Shop in Kennett Square, Pennsylvania.
There you go.
Yeah, my family.
What should they order?
Get a cheesesteak,
Cheesesteak.
Italian special.
Okay.
My mom will kill me for saying that because she has to slice all the meat for it. So yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, well.
Sorry,
But
Mr. Trondo.
cheesesteaks, yeah.
Well, thank you,
Right
Mike,
on.
for being here.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Now we'll go get some lunch.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And there you go, folks. Thank you, Mike, for talking with me. There you go. My talk with Mike Bertrando. Good times. Always good talking with him and catching up. So once again, for the plugs, please go to Twitter at EJ Scott and at EJ Podcast. Instagram, EJScott1106. My website, EJScott.com. Crowdrise.com/7on7 for the charities. Running Blind documentary on iTunes, Amazon, or Google Play for only $2 or $3. And subscribe to my podcast on iTunes or iHeartRadio. And that'll do it. So check out my past podcasts and check out my future ones. Don't miss anything. Don't miss a moment. It's all important. All right. Good enough. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.